What's up guys, All Things Automotive here, and I'm here to bring you a video on the basics of riding a motorcycle. I'm just going to go over some concepts, some fundamentals, and basically I'm just going to try to make it a little bit more easier on those beginning or those trying to get into motorcycle riding. It's a great sport, you know, trying to take the intimidation factor, you know, lower it and make you feel a bit more confident about this great sport, this great activity, you know. And also just bear with me please, this is my first YouTube video, and just give me some comments, some feedback. Everything helps, and let me know what you'd like to see differently, possibly more videos to come in the future. Give me some good ideas, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Okay, before we get over to the motorcycle, I just want to go over some examples of some safety equipment. This is a helmet, this is a full face helmet, this is a half helmet. Okay, the full face helmet differs in that it's got a windscreen, and it's also got protection all the way around. I highly recommend you choose a full face helmet over a half helmet, but you know, they're more common for sport bike riders than half helmets. Half helmets you usually see people that ride cruisers like Harleys with them, but you know, listen, it's not all about looking cool when you're on a motorcycle, it's protecting your face. If you go down, this really isn't going to do much for you. This is going to do a whole heck of a lot better job protecting you. These are gloves. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. These really will save your hands though if you go down. These have some carbon fiber inserts on the top which protect your knuckles. Also good for the cold as well. One thing I forgot to point out was the windscreen and glasses. Those are two great things that you should be wearing over your eyes, to protect your eyes from dust, any kind of debris. You don't want your eyes to be obstructed because how else are you going to see? That creates your the likelihood of getting into a crash if your eyes are blocked. Boots, great. You should wear them all the time when you're riding. You don't have to necessarily have riding boots. Tim's work too. You know, they offer a lot more protection than sneakers. Moving down to this, we have a riding jacket. This is my riding jacket. It's an armor jacket. It's got padding in it. You know, this will save you a lot more than a t-shirt will. I highly recommend you go get yourself some kind of a jacket or some kind of a heavy long sleeve top. Even though it may be the summertime, it's the most common time to ride. You don't want to be sweating in a big heavy jacket like this, but listen, if it's going to save your upper body, it's worth wearing. Also, let's talk about lower body. I recommend either jeans or some kind of leather pants. Those do a really good job as far as road rash protection is concerned. If you fall off and you start sliding, you know, it's going to start cutting up the denim and the leather, but it's going to be a lot more resistant to pavement rash than, let's say, shorts or like Adidas track pants would be. So this is some of the recommended safety equipment that you should wear. Helmets are required in almost every state. I can give you an example. Connecticut, they don't require helmets, but listen, if you want to live after going down, I highly recommend you wear at least a helmet, jeans, and some kind of a long sleeve shirt, and boots if you want to, but they're not super necessary, but they do a great job of protection. Now that I've gone over the proper regulations and safety equipment in order to ride a motorcycle, let's move to our bike. This is my motorcycle. It's a 600cc Yamaha. No, this is not my first bike. This is not what I learned to ride on. Just FYI to you beginners, you probably want to start on something smaller, like let's say a 125 or a 250. Alright, let's move to the major components of a motorcycle that you should familiarize yourself with. First off, on the right of the handlebar, it's got handlebars, is your kill switch. Now what this does is it basically shuts the engine off. Now you could do this while you're moving, just in case a hazard may appear. You need to kill the power to your engine. Basically all you do, the little X right there, flip that, it'll kill the power of the engine, but it will not stop the bike. You still have to brake. You'll still be moving. Now to start the bike back up, put the ignition kill switch to run, and then you push your ignition. This is an electric start. Basically you just hold this in and it starts up just like a car. Now this is the front brake. Many of you would think that just like a bicycle, the brakes are located on the handlebars, and you would be incorrect. The front brake is located on the right side of the handlebars. On the left side, we have what's called the clutch. I will explain that in just a second. Now you may be saying to yourself, if you've never seen the layout of a motorcycle, where could the rear brake be? That's right down by your right foot. Right here, that little lever right there is your rear brake. I will explain how that works in just a moment. Back up into the bike. You have your key ignition right here. Just like a car, you put it on, it'll turn your dash on, and you have to start it. Basically what this encompasses is basically an ignition to turn the bike on, and it also has a fork lock. Basically what that does is it locks your forks to the left, so it makes it harder for someone to try and steal your bike because they can't wheel it to a vehicle that they might have that could take it. Now, when I put the key ignition on, we can observe the dash. Now the dash consists of a tachometer. Many bikes have them, not all of them do. It also has an instrument panel just like a car. What that green light is signifying is that this bike is in neutral, one of the gears that I will go over. Okay, also it'll tell you if your high beams are on, if your engine is malfunctioning, it'll tell you if your oil temperature is too high, it'll tell you if your turn signals are on, yada yada yada. Now moving to the left, we of course have a speedometer, an odometer, you have a fuel gauge, an engine temperature gauge, and a clock. This is one of the more intricate dashes that I've seen on a motorcycle. Many motorcycles do not have all of this instrumentation, but it would be nice to have it if you could find a bike that does. Moving over to the left. Now the left of the handlebars contains the high beams and low beams. Basically this is your headlight. Just like a car, you have high beams and low beams. Now these are your turn signals right here. Right turn signal, left turn signal. And unlike a car, you have to cancel the turn signals yourself. Many motorcycles do not have self-canceling turn signals, but some of them actually are available with that option. So basically, if you're going to signal right, you're going to have to remember to cancel the turn signal, and you do that by just clicking in just like that. Now I'll show you on the dash where it shows. You can see that blinking, that means your turn signal is on. And now to cancel, we push it to the middle, and your turn signal is off. Moving lower, you have a horn, just like a car. Push it, and it makes a horn noise. You know, I'm not going to start it up so you can hear a horn. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, yes, here's the other brake, but if you were paying attention earlier, I showed you where the rear brake is. This lever is called the clutch. Now, those of you that aren't familiar with, say, a stick shift or manual transmission car will not understand what a clutch is. Basically, what the clutch does is it takes the power from the engine and it supplies it to the wheel, okay? In an automatic, that is done by just depressing the accelerator. This is slightly more complicated, and I will show you how the clutch operates shortly. Moving on. Like all motorcycles should by DOT standards, Department of Transportation, you have to have mirrors, like turn signals like I showed you, and clearly license plate, brake light, all that. Now moving lower, we could see the inner workings of the engine. Right here is your shift lever. I'll show you how this operates shortly. This is how you're gonna have to shift gears. Motorcycles, I would say about 99% of them come with a manual transmission, meaning that you have to shift through the gears yourself. There's only about a handful of bikes out there that have an automatic transmission. I will show you how this operates again shortly. These are the rear pegs. If you ever want to have a passenger on your bike, flip them up, and they have a place to rest their feet at. These are the rear turn signals, and the front, just in case you care. And basically I've hit many of the major points. I mean, windscreen. This one, more for looks, doesn't really do much for you unless you could bury your head behind it. You got your discs. This is the front brake. And the rear brake. This bike is equipped with disc brakes. Many of them should be, and they're a lot safer if you do have them. You got your exhaust and the rear brake like I was showing you. Okay, now for the more functional aspects of your motorcycle. The first thing you'd want to do is be able to start your motorcycle. Like I said earlier, there's a few components in order to start your motorcycle that you'll need to familiarize yourself with. First off, you're gonna have to select the key to on your key ignition. I already have the kill switch on run, but if it was in this position, which is kill, just want to flip it to run, okay? Now that the bike is in neutral, we could start it. So I will show you how to select neutral with the gear selector momentarily. Now that the bike is in neutral, all you're going to need to do is press your electric start switch and your bike will come to life. Notice how the RPMs go from 0 to about 1500. This is resting revolutions per minute. You know that your bike is on, but it's not going anywhere. There are two ways to kill a running engine. First, as I have shown you, there's the kill switch. You simply just push the switch to kill, and it just stops your bike, shuts it off. Now, also, you can shut your bike off by using the key selector. Just turn it to off. I will demonstrate. And that's all. Now we will move on to more of the operational aspects of your motorcycle. Many motorcycles are equipped with a 6-speed manual transmission, which this bike has here. Also commonly, you will find 5-speed manual transmissions, and even less commonly, you will find an automatic transmission. I would say about less than 2% of the motorcycles being sold come available with an automatic transmission. Now, in order to learn how to shift gears properly in order to operate your motorcycle, we will have to familiarize ourselves with the gear layout. Many of you who have driven stick shift cars, the gear layout is completely different. In order to change gears, you have a gear shift lever, okay? Now, the gear layout is completely different, as I have said to you. So this has 6 speeds and neutral, okay? So first gear is down. So you would have to push the shifter 1 full click down. I've just put the bike in first gear. Now, all of the other gears you will have to shift up, okay? I don't know who designed that, but that's the universal layout of gear shifting for a motorcycle. So, first gear is down, like I've just shown, and neutral through 6th are up. So neutral is a half click. Well, I will explain that in just a second. Neutral is a half click, 2nd is a full click all the way up, then 3rd is a full click up, 4th is a full click up, 5th is a full click up, and you guessed it, 6th is a full click up. Now I'm going to show you how to find neutral. I've just put the engine in first gear. Now, if you were going to start your bike up, you will need to grab the clutch and hold it in order to start it. I started the bike up in neutral, which I just demonstrated earlier. So in order to start your bike up from an idle, you will need to put it in neutral, which I'll explain here. The bike is now in first gear because the gear select lever has been depressed as far down as it could possibly go, being that first gear is the only gear that you would place your foot up here and tap down for. Now, to find neutral from first gear, it is 1 half click up. So I will explain that right now. A half click looks like this. That is neutral, okay? It is not a full pull, if you will, of the lever. It is only a half pull. I will show you that with my foot in just a second. Okay, this is where your left foot is going to be located when riding a motorcycle. Here you have your foot peg right here where your foot will rest on, and here is your gear shift lever. Now, in order to operate it with your foot, just like I did with my hand, we are currently in neutral. We want to put the bike in first gear. What you will do is, as I will show later, is grab the clutch in order to operate the gear shift lever. Actually, I'll show you right now. squeeze in your clutch, and then push a full click down on the lever to put the bike in first gear, as I will show. Okay, now that is first gear. We do not want to let go of the clutch. The bike is not running right now, but you do not want to let go of the clutch when your bike is in any gear except for neutral, because it will stall. Basically what stalling is your bike will shut off. Now to find neutral, I will demonstrate with my foot again. It is 1/2 click up from first. Now to really feel what a half click is, I recommend you go find yourself some kind of bike to practice on. This is neutral, by the way. So it is not a full tap, it is just a half tap. So you would use half the amount of pressure that you would use to shift to a gear than you would do with neutral. Now I will show you how to shift through all of the gears from first through sixth. Okay, first gear, neutral, second gear, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Now I will demonstrate how to shift from first to second, surpassing neutral. The bike is currently in first gear because the lever is as far down as it can go. Now to shift up to second, it is one full pull of the shift lever upwards. As you can see, that is second gear. You will hear 2 clicks simultaneously. That means I am passing through neutral and going up to second gear. Now to go back down to first, one full push of the shift lever downwards. That is first gear. Now to find neutral from first, it is 1/2 pull up. And to get into second, it's another 1/2 pull up. Like so. Now to get down to first, it is one full push down. And to get back to neutral, it is a 1/2 tap down. That is neutral. Now I will demonstrate what finding neutral looks like with my foot. Okay, we are currently in neutral. Now, I'm going to put the bike in first gear, which is a 1/2 tap down. Now to find neutral from first, as I have demonstrated earlier, it is a 1/2 pull up. Now to go from neutral to second, it is another 1/2 pull up. Now to find neutral from second, it is a 1/2 tap down, like so. And to get back into first, it is another 1/2 tap down. Now to go from first to second, we do a one full pull of the shift lever in the upwards direction to surpass neutral and to get from first to second. That is second gear. To get back down to first gear while surpassing through neutral, it is one full tap down. Okay? When we start riding, we always start in first gear and shift upwards. Now, while moving, we always surpass through neutral. Neutral is a gear that we use to idle at so that we do not have to hold the clutch in, say, when we're at a stop. Now, when starting, we begin in first, and as our speed increases, we shift from first to second, second to third, and so on. As our speed decreases, we will downshift, third to second, second to first, and if we're at a stoplight, we could put the bike in neutral, like so. I'll show you that sequence one more time. Neutral to first, first to second, second to third, third to second, second to first, and then first to neutral. Now, if we are in second gear and we want to go straight to neutral, as I have demonstrated earlier, it is 1/2 tap down, and we don't even have to utilize first until we want to start moving again, which is simply 1/2 tap down. Now that we have hopefully mastered upshifting, downshifting, and finding neutral, it is time to learn how to operate the clutch. Now, what the clutch does is, as stated earlier, is it takes the power from the engine and supplies it to the wheel so that you can start moving. Now, this is how we begin with the clutch. First off, you want to start your bike. I like to start it in neutral, many will agree. My bike's currently in neutral right now, so without even touching the clutch, I could just go ahead, flip the switch to run, and give it the ignition. Okay, now if I want to start moving, what I do is I grab my clutch lever, pull it completely so that it's flush with the grip. It's completely touching the grip. I want to select first, as we went over, 1/2 tap down from neutral. Then what I want to do is let go or release the clutch very slowly while applying acceleration with the throttle. This is what that looks like. And you want to continue this process until the clutch is fully away from the grip and you have started moving. Okay? Next, when we have started moving and our speed increases as you increase the throttle, what you want to do is you have the clutch released when you're moving. When your speed increases as well as your RPMs, as I have mentioned before, you want to take your clutch, grab it in all the way, and let go of the throttle, okay? So usually in this process, what I first do is I let go of the throttle first, then I bring the clutch in. Let go of the throttle, bring the clutch in. Now you're ready to shift to second. What you do is from first, one full pull of the shift lever up, then you release the clutch and you can apply throttle once again. Now I'm going to go over taking off once again. I'm going to show you a quick exercise on how to let out the clutch from its friction zone and have it engage so that you can begin moving. First gear to take off is the hardest to master. It took me a while, okay? It just takes a little bit of practice, but every other gear while you're moving, you do not need to do this process with. So first gear is the hardest, but it's not impossible. I'm going to show you a quick exercise that'll help. Okay, so you just want to find the engagement point of the clutch. So the easiest way to do that is to start your bike up, of course. Put it in first gear. Then you want to let go of the clutch nice and easy without any gas. And when you start moving forward, you want to bring the clutch back in so that you come to a halt. Okay, let it out, nice and easy, so you start rolling. Bring it back in so you come back to a halt. Nice and easy, bring it back in. Nice and easy so you start rolling. Now that point where you begin to roll, that's where you want to start adding some throttle, and then you can start letting the clutch go and let it go and let it go and let it go until it's fully released. Then you can increase your throttle, and when your RPMs start to increase, when they hit around 4,000 to 5,000, that's about optimal shift speed, you want to bring your clutch back in and shift. Okay? And you want to repeat this process as your speed increases, and you want to downshift as your speed decreases. Okay, now I just want to go over some common mistakes that people make. Stalling, giving too much gas, or not shifting with the right process. So basically, they're holding the clutch in and giving it gas at the same time while they're shifting. So basically all they're doing is spiking the revs. Okay, let me just show you a couple common mistakes that you want to try to avoid making. Okay. So first is the most common mistake that people make when they're beginning. It is called a stall. Basically what happens when you stall the bike is it shuts off because you're not giving it enough gas or you're letting the clutch go too fast. So let me show you. Okay, right now I'm in first gear. This is a common mistake. It's called stalling. If I let the clutch go too fast, if I'm not nice and easy with it and I let it go too fast, this will happen. The bike will lurch forward and shut off. So basically, it's not the end of the world when you stall your bike. Bring your clutch back in and push the starter again. And you start moving again. Now, spiking the revs is another common mistake. When you're not letting the clutch go fast enough, this is what's going to happen. Okay? All you did there was spike the revs, but you have failed to move forward. Okay? Another mistake is giving too much gas and letting the clutch go too fast, where you will lurch forward, yet move faster than you expect. Just like that. I didn't stall, but it was too fast of a takeoff for my comfort. When you put it all together, it's going to look something like this. Hopefully with more practice, you will get down all the fundamentals of riding a motorcycle and will feel more comfortable about riding a motorcycle. I hope I've provided enough information for you who are just learning and to start you guys off on the right foot. I will hopefully go into more depth with a riding video in the future, but my goal here was to just provide you with the basic concepts and fundamentals about riding a motorcycle. This has been All Things Automotive. Thank you guys.